Hi, Facebook.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, thank you, Your Honor.
We have
Your
20
Highness.
seconds and we are ready to rock and roll with the hometown movie guys.
We're
One
on
of,
the cover
one of whom has been kicked off Facebook for another 30 days.
again.
We won't tell you who.
30 days?
We won't tell you who.
Wow.
We'll just have you guess that it's Tina.
It's always 30
Here we
days
go.
now for me. Now it's going to be.
You're a repeat offender?
I'm a scuffed.
Good. Finally, Friday morning, 4 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're at 41 degrees right now at the K-Rim Cottage on West Frontier in Payson. Glad you're coming along with us this morning for K-Rim's Community Spotlight. And as we do on Fridays, we have with us today the hometown movie guys.
Yay!
Steve, Craig, and Andy
Yay
Lewis.
for us.
How's everybody doing?
Well, except for getting kicked off Facebook for 30 days, I'm fine.
And how many times does that happen?
I don't know.
Many.
Do you have a calculator handy?
I'm a repeat offender.
Ah,
Yes.
well,
If they don't even tell me why, they say, you offended our community standards, or you did hate speech. I mean, I'm such a sweet, loving person.
maybe we should talk about movies with hate speech. Hey, well, anyway, like we always do with our hometown movie guys, Tina, Craig, and Andy.
I hate that.
Well, I hate that too. We like to talk about what's going on at the Sawmill theaters. And first of all, Craig, as far as movies this week, I know we were talking just before going on the air. You got a couple of pretty cool movies starting today.
Yeah, two new films.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter. It's Mia Jovovich, and it's actually based on a video game. So this is a sci-fi thing, dragons and stuff like that going on.
Right.
And then the other one is The Midnight Sky. That's George Clooney.
Oh, George Clooney. I haven't
yeah.
seen him in anything lately.
No, he hasn't. Yeah. Looks like a good one. This is another sci-fi film where the Earth has gone through a disaster, and there's a ship coming back from the moons of Saturn, and he's trying to contact them to not come back.
Oh, wow.
So
That
yeah,
sounds
it looks interesting. Yeah.
And although it's tempting for Andy to talk for the rest of the hour about Mima Joseph, how do you pronounce her? Jovovich.
What is it? Or is it maybe Jojovich? Jojovich?
Well, I'm an American.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
We
And what-
mispronounce everything.
And what is she? Is she Serbian? I don't know.
And people, if you don't recognize the name, you might remember
I
her
don't know.
from The Fifth Element. She was the one that
Yes.
played the unusual character.
She is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Just visually on screen, she takes over.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah.
Probably most famous, I guess, for the Resident Evil films. She did
Yes.
5 of those, I believe.
Wow.
6.
Six.
Is it 6? Yeah.
But wait, there's more,
Yeah, and again, Resident Evil also based on video games.
right?
Yeah.
And don't forget that you can also join us this morning on Facebook Live. We'll be here all hour now. We're just a half hour on K-Rim, but those of you joining us on Facebook Live this morning, notice that we have this wonderful new plexiglass sneeze guard between us and our guests so that we can hopefully keep from spewing on each other and things like that. And we can also write notes on this to each other if we like, rather than the usual
Fingerprints.
hand gesture.
I'd like ranch dressing, please.
Yeah, it's really.
Fingerprints.
Where's the celery? Anyway, bottom line is we're trying to keep everything safe in here. It's difficult. Some folks got to wear masks. Other folks don't want to wear masks. And so we figured this is a kind of a nice little in-between thing. So we're all separated in our places with bright, shining faces. So what are some of the other movies that are still playing at the Sawmill Theater this week?
We still have The Croods.
Oh, yeah? And how's that been going?
Very well. Very well.
I've seen the ads for it. Nice little animated flick.
Yeah. Actually, it's supposed to be. I've not seen it yet, but it's supposed to be very good. My buddy went and saw it the other day, and he said he was cracking up through the whole thing.
So is this one that's good for the whole family, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely sounds
I
like.
mean, normally, when you think of an animated film, you think it would be, but then there's things like, Fritz the Cat and stuff like that that kind of.
Well, no, this is PG. Yeah, it's
Okay.
PG. It's PG. But,
Well, and school's out, which means parents and aunties and other people who are having your children around you a lot more now.
Right.
Take them to the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
And
to
they
the
practice
movies.
good social distancing there, so you can be safe, and
Yeah.
they've got lots of popcorn, and that's really the most important thing. So business, you were saying before we went on the air, Craig, the business has actually been picking up.
Not bad. Not
Good.
bad. It's because we're still kind of going through the process, right? Yeah, not too bad. Thanksgiving was good, and Christmas is always a positive one for us. We will be open for the next 2 weeks, every day.
Yay.
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah, we've been closed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but here for the next couple of weeks while everyone's on vacation, we'll be open every day.
Does that include Christmas Day?
It does. Yeah,
Wow.
no, we
Wow.
We close early on Christmas Eve, so Christmas Eve we'll play our 4:30 shows, will be the last show
Right.
time that we do.
Right.
Then we'll shut it down, kind of get out there a little bit early, but yeah, all day on Christmas. Christmas is a big one, and actually, Christmas is next Friday. That's the big one coming out then. Wonder Woman, the new Wonder Woman film comes out.
Oh, I've always wondered about her.
Still my heart. Gal
I-
Gadot. Oh, she's
Promising
great.
Young Woman.
Yes.
That's
Yes, she is.
Carrie Mulligan.
Oh, that's a movie, I'm sorry.
Different woman.
Okay.
It's not Gal Gadot?
Well, it is Gal Gadot. No, Promising
I
Young
mean, Gal
Woman. No,
Gadot.
Promising Young Woman is another film.
Promising Young
Yeah,
Woman.
that's
It's like a revenge flick, isn't it?
yeah, yes.
Ooh.
a little
Can't
bit,
wait
yeah.
for
I
that.
gotta see it.
And then also News of the World. Tom Hanks, Western.
Right.
Right.
I'm
So-
really anxious to see him play a Western. I think he could
Sure.
he could play a can of soup probably, but that'll be interesting.
And,
And
that's all next Christmas or Christmas Day, next Friday.
well, very cool. And what have the critics been saying beforehand on that movie with Tom Hanks?
I've not seen anything on it yet.
Oh, nobody's
Yeah, I don't
had
know
a
if they.
sneak peek yet or anything.
I'll bet you a nickel they say it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Well,
that would be
It's
nice.
willing to bet a big nickel. Can you imagine the last of the big time spenders here?
Yeah. Well, the acting's going to be good anyway.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
At the very least.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of, has there ever been a Tom Hanks film that tanked? I'm trying to think of one bad one, and nothing comes to nothing comes to my mind most of the time. But
He's got a pretty long list of successful films.
Really
yeah.
great flicks, yeah.
any guy that can, I believe it was Academy Award winner when he spent all of his time talking to a volleyball, right? Didn't they win an award on that one?
For that or not? He did Forrest Gump. That
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Well, the Green Mile, I love that.
Yeah,
one.
he got his
Yeah.
awards for the Green Mile and the Philadelphia
Oh,
project.
no, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
With,
go,
by the way, music by Mark Knopfler of Dire
Right,
Straits,
right.
and I love that soundtrack.
Very interesting.
Great.
Life is like a box of chocolates. When you go outside and it's hot, you melt. Anyway, interesting though. I'm anxious to, again, it just seems like a real different twist. I mean, he's played an astronaut, a castaway, a cartoon cowboy.
policeman.
Oh, yeah.
A policeman? Which movie was that?
One with the dog.
Oh,
Turner.
Turner
Yeah, Turner
Movies.
Movies, that's
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah, and then way back in the day, Big.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and that
he
was hilarious,
young,
I
And
thought,
Sleepless in Seattle.
right? And of course, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
That was a big award winner, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't get Best Actor for that. It's a shame that he hasn't received as many statues as he deserves.
Well done, yeah. So that comes out next Friday.
That's next Friday. Yeah.
On
So
Christmas Day. And what a great idea, though. I mean, when it comes to family gatherings and stuff like that, okay, yeah, you get up and maybe you're the kind that maybe you do your gift exchange Christmas Eve, maybe you do it first thing Christmas morning, whatever it might be. But then, you sit around, you eat, and then you're, like, well, okay, now what do we do? And going to the theater sounds like a perfect way to, just kind of top off the day.
too, if anyone has a big family and they're wanting to come in and do a private showing, we can set something up for them there too.
Wow, how cool is that?
Want to come in and we usually do those in the morning,
Right.
at 10 a.m. But yeah, if you want to do it that way, we can certainly accommodate.
Cool. What if I, just because I'm curious and what the heck, we're on the air, might as well talk about it. If I wanted to do that and have like a group or, maybe some friends, family or whoever, and get a theater myself, what's entailed?
Well, there's a few options there, but generally it's $100 minimum anyway. But if you want to drink some popcorn, and we can do $7 a person,
Right?
with drinks and popcorn included.
Wow.
Depending on how big the group is, so pretty reasonable. I
Still,
think.
one Benjamin to get a whole bunch of people in there, that sounds like it could be a lot of fun. For the good, the bad, and the ugly. Anyway, so cool. Well, we got some great movies for you to go see at the Sawmill Theaters, and again, I'm just really encouraged to hear that it sounds like business is back up again for you guys, because this has been a tough time for a lot of different businesses, but and I know it's been very difficult for you, but good to hear that things are getting back somewhere close to whatever normal is.
It's going to be a process, and as we move forward, though, the studios are going to start releasing, more and more films. So, and we're of course it was really positive. Everyone started getting their vaccinations this week. So
Right.
that I think will be I've said all along. I think that's going to be one of the big things for a little bit of people feeling more comfortable.
Right, yeah, there's a whole nother talk show right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just by the looks on on Tina's face. Vaccinations?
Well, I've been studying.
I saw.
I wanna go on a vaccination.
I know, I believe
I wanna go someplace warm.
mandatory vacations for everybody.
Oh man, I could go for that vacation. I haven't had one of those in like forever.
But
What is it?
this new George Clooney movie,
Yeah.
this is the first one in, I don't know how long, maybe Craig can help me with this. This is $100 million budget movie. This is a huge movie.
You mean huge?
Huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Huge. It's gonna be
And they
huge.
spared no
Could have been a
expense apparently.
contender.
And they spared no expense, yeah.
Yeah, so $100 million. I mean, obviously that should translate well onto the
Well, the
screen.
good thing about that is that they're investing, all of a sudden Hollywood is going, okay, we've got to come back. And, that's a positive thing. I mean, despite,
because
despite the weirdos in Hollywood, but.
all the big blockbuster movies
Yeah.
got stuffed this year.
Right.
Usually in the summertime, every week we've got some incredible, amazing delight for our eyeballs and our emotions
Right.
to go experience at the theater. But not this year. This is the first one, probably of the year.
Wow.
Because like in January, we didn't get any big blockbusters.
That's when they started pushing everything.
Right.
And one kind of a positive thing here, and thankfully this cursed year is almost over. But with all these movies being pushed, 2021 looks to be pretty solid. We'll have
Good.
more product than normal. So it should be a good bounce back year and a lot of good things to see.
That sounds like great news.
But George Clooney is always entertaining to watch.
Right?
He's made a lot of movies, some of which have been pretty doggone fun to see, and to have him, and he directed this one too. So to have him go out and spend $100 million to make a sci-fi movie, and a pretty serious theme too. The world is just wrecked, and these astronauts come back from their exploration, and he's tries to get a hold of them, calls them up, says, "Hey, astronauts, you probably don't want to come back. Everything's trashed."
Wow.
And this is when George Clooney actually pancreatitis, I believe. He
really?
Well, he had to go through a lot of weight loss for the for the role.
Huh.
And actually landed on himself in the hospital doing it.
Wow. That's
I have that. It's incredibly painful.
that does not sound like any fun.
Pancreatitis, is that it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these these actors, some of them take this quite seriously. We're looking Tom Cruise. I don't know if you saw in the headlines here where he's running into some problems on Mission Impossible 7. I think it's 7. Some of one, but basically people following COVID restrictions on here, and he's
Yeah, I saw the recording of him. He kind of went off.
He did.
Told people they'd be fired if they, pulled that kind of.
He's trying to keep everything safe and secure there, and to the other part of that is I guess he paid $700,000 out of his own pocket to rent cruise ships for the cast and crew to stay on while they were doing the filming. To keep everyone isolated. So I guess if you throw out almost $1 million of your own cash, then you got a little
Kind
bit
of
of
seriously invested there.
yeah. Well, yeah, and again, that's a I don't know how everyone feels about actors, but they many of them feel this is an art. Not just a
Right.
it's not just a job. This is art that they're performing, and
Sure.
And they take it pretty seriously. We've seen Daniel Day-Lewis where he goes into character for a year before he even starts filming. I mean that's just an insane commitment to the craft.
Right. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, if we take actors personally, sometimes we disagree with them, and sometimes we, they even say negative things about us. And I'm thinking, if we buy your tickets, you shouldn't do that. But the ability of these people to absolutely assume a role.
Mhm.
I think of Meryl Streep, I think of Daniel Day-Lewis,
Mila
Gary
Jovovich.
Oldman. Mila Jovovich, she assumes the body. She's like totally the body.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. If she's a star as opposed to an actress. The stars are, they eat up the screen with their presence. Elizabeth Taylor was a star, right? John Wayne mostly was a star. He played John Wayne, but who cares? I wanted to see John Wayne.
Right.
So,
No, George Clooney.
yeah.
He's certainly a star.
Well, and
He's a
he's
star
played-
and an actor.
He's played,
Yeah.
some pretty diverse roles too.
Yeah.
What's the?
Oh, brother, where are
Yeah.
you?
I mean,
He's
when I
hysterical.
saw him in that, it's like, well, that's a significant departure from, this. I think when he made his debut in public on television as playing a part of a doctor, I believe.
Yes.
And so he's always got this rather conservative air about him, and all of a sudden in Brother Where Art Thou, it's not conservative, I guess.
Well, and he plays comedy really well. The movie Irreconcilable Differences,
Right.
which is another Coen Brothers.
I didn't think that was funny at all. I thought it was terrifying
I
and
thought it was
horrible.
great.
I mean,
I lo-
great movie, but
Yeah,
the theme.
and then Catherine Zeta-Jones, who it just she eats up the screen.
She's not hard to look
fabulous.
at, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Burn After Reading.
Oh, excellent.
George Clooney,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Brad Pitt was in
That was
one,
funny.
yeah.
They're buddies, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, we got to say good morning to those that are following us on Facebook Live. Jojo, Ned, Angelica, Dawn, Janelle, and April all watching. So thanks for coming along with us.
Howdy, howdy.
The conversation gets a lot more interesting when we're off the air, so hang around. Now, so when it comes to some of these different actors and actresses, let's go back to Jojovich, or
Jojovich.
however that's pronounced.
Whatever.
Favorite movie,
Find out what she
Angie?
is.
Oh, Fifth Element, of course.
By far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the only one I remember her from personally. But
Okay.
me, I haven't seen all the movies.
Just for those of us that might be interested in this, Mila Jovovich is a yogi.
Really?
Yes, it's
Yay.
probably how she keeps so fit.
Well,
And one of her favorite
yeah.
sayings is, "Don't be a boo boo." Oh, sorry, wrong yogi.
No, she's great. Yeah, but that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Get a picnic basket.
Yep, she's been making movies. She's 45 now. She's been
Really?
making movies since she was 13.
Wow.
Yep. She's made 6 of the Resident Evil films, and everybody, I think, in the entire world appreciates the Resident Evil films. They're among the top tier of zombie films. And
I didn't realize there were multiple tiers with zombie films.
Oh yeah, no, you
Oh,
go,
yeah.
you go all the way from
That's-
Zombieland and World
Yeah.
War Z
And Night of the Living Dead.
and Light of the Living Dead. At the top down
Yeah.
to some really pretty rough stuff down at the other end. But these are very popular.
And again-
Obviously they made 6 of them, so that people like them, and we like her in there.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Well, also, she was married, did you not know this, to Luc Besson.
Luc
Luc
Besson.
Besson, who made The Fifth Element.
That's right. And what else
Yes.
did he make?
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Lunch?
Yeah, well, I can't, but I don't know. I forgot. I mean, I do know, but I forgot.
Mhm.
What else?
The Professional.
Well, it's actually Leon the Professional. They
Leon, yeah.
renamed
They
it.
renamed it,
Yeah,
didn't they?
yeah. With Jean, what's his name?
Yep,
The French guy.
the French guy.
And
Jean Reno.
And Gary Oldman playing the baddest of all bad DEA agents.
Right.
Oh, Lord of mercy, that's a stunning.
And oddly enough, Gary Oldman also featured prominently in The Fifth Element.
Yes, he did. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Luc Besson is
Very
one of our
very
favorite
talented
favorite directors. Even though what's the one he made last year or year before, the sci-fi flick, that was not successful.
Well, there's a bunch of them here. I mean, he made Lucy,
Lucy was
Oh,
good.
he made La Femme de Nikita.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's
yes.
the original,
The original,
French
and
version.
that is one of my favorite movies.
Really?
I've forgotten about it, and yet it's a favorite.
Anyway, she was married to him for a couple of years.
Yeah.
He also, I think, directed her in The Messenger.
Yes,
Where
which
she-
is about Joan of Arc.
Yeah, she played,
Yeah.
Mila played Joan of Arc.
Right, right.
Mila
That's a
also,
hot role.
speaking of hot roles, played in Return to the Blue Lagoon when she was a teenager.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Humph.
Dazed and Confused.
Oh.
Yes.
Why are you looking at me like that?
'Cause I'm dazed and confused.
Oh, yeah.
Zoolander.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Zoolander 2.
With,
Yep.
yeah. he
Other
was-
Ben
actors.
Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Oh, he's
So,
great.
just
He is great.
Awful films.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I didn't
I
like them.
love that
They-
movie. I love that movie.
You know, Ben Stiller's
fault.
Ben Stiller's one we haven't talked about, in those
Yeah, we have.
comedy roles, but
Yeah.
he does have. We always talk about Will Ferrell. That some people like him, or you either like him, or
You either
don't
like him or you
him.
don't,
And
yeah.
Ben Stiller kind of some of his roles kind of drift
Oh,
into that
I
range.
love it. I love him.
Yeah.
And he was in that.
Can't
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you get kicked off Facebook all the time.
Well, that's
so,
true.
you know.
The one that took place in Vietnam,
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
That was good.
You couldn't even make that movie today. It was
Really?
so un-PC. Yeah, and Robert Downey Jr., Tropic Thunder. Yeah.
Speaking of movies that need to be remade, I'm kind of thinking that, oh golly, just like that, I had the name of it, Blazing Saddles. Don't you think we should have Blazing Saddles again, or Blazing Saddles
I
revisited?
don't think we can do
Never,
that.
never.
Now there's, and here's my weird little movie quip. What are some of the movies that were pretty popular at one time that wouldn't be able to be done today because everyone's got their nose so far in the air with political correctness?
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's probably the top
Young
list.
Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
great too.
The
Andy
producers.
Melbrook.
Andy Melbrooks,
Andy
right,
Melbrooks,
yeah,
yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
But you know what? I just think I don't know. And
Gone,
maybe,
Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they banned that in some places.
and that's I
Yeah,
can,
Gone with the Wind is, it's been
Yeah.
banned.
Yeah,
and when it comes to their concerns about some of the things in that movie, frankly, Payson, I don't give a damn. I just think that I don't know. To me, I would think that some of those movies, and as frivolous as Blazing Saddles was in a lot of ways, it was funny, and I mean, people were, it was a gut-bustingly funny movie back in the day, and I just lately it seems like what we consider to be comedy just isn't as funny as it used to be, and maybe I just have maybe it's just the weird off-color stuff that makes me laugh the most. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. It's me. It's not everyone else.
well, speaking of PC-ism, and it is a disease, the latest movie about Anne Boleyn is made with a woman of color. She's quite dark, and she's African American or African and British or something.
Yeah.
But so Anne Boleyn all of a sudden is Negroid, which is the biological term.
Right.
I'm sorry, who's gonna see that?
And why did you feel the need to make that? I mean,
Yeah.
if we don't get me started on this, because basically, I'm definitely in favor of equality for everybody. But
Who among us is not?
if I was making movies just touting the qualities of white people, I'd be tarred and feathered.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
it would seem to me only logical that no color should be portrayed that way.
Well, I
and we
read a
shouldn't be
very
mixing
good
history.
review of Hillbilly Elegy,
Ah.
in which the author said, and I totally agree, he said, poor white people are fair game right now. They can be absolutely portrayed as having no socially redeeming qualities at all.
Right.
Whereas you couldn't do that about poor ghetto people in, a black ghetto. You can't do that. I mean, God forbid you should point attention to the problems of the black ghetto, except that these are victims. They're victims. Poor white people, they're not victims. They're just stupid and evil.
And real quick here, going back to talking about Facebook Live, greetings this morning to Manuel, Melissa, also Kim, Charmaine, and Lisa, all watching us this morning on Facebook Live. And
Thank you.
and you need to hang out there, or if you're not on Facebook Live right now, go check us out there. Look for K-Room FM on Facebook,
Yep.
and we'll be coming to you live. We have to get back to more of your favorite music here on the radio, but we're going to continue talking and a little bit
Did we
more.
burn through a half an hour already?
Believe it or not,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've-
And sadly, or actually quite happily, the conversation after we're not on the air, where the FCC doesn't get after us quite so much, can oftentimes be a little more interesting. So switch over to Facebook Live if you can. And if you want to have more of your favorite music, well, coming up, we've got some tunes for you from the Beatles, the Who, the record company, and a whole bunch more. But first, a quick look at Rim Country weather.
With this
I want to hear the Traveling Willoughbys,
Oh, yeah.
but I think,
Traveling Willoughbys?
Yeah, yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, is this the period when half of those guys were on Smack?
Probably. I think they were all on Smack.
Still are.
Wow. Boy, we get off the radio and we're talking smack all of a
You're
sudden.
talking Smack, really.
It's one of those things that hasn't changed.
Merry Christmas.
Well, so you have to head back to the
Oh,
the theater, right?
yeah, I got, well, several, things to do. Next Friday.
Yeah, what's the
Are
deal?
we on next Friday?
Are we on next Friday?
Christmas Day.
No.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I know I
We'll
won't
see
be.
you at the theater.
I'm pretty sure the whole place is just on.
I've been watching you do that. I can tell you, I can handle it. I can
Yeah.
just let me in.
Come on in, take control.
Just turn the three of us loose and we'll figure it out.
That could be festive.
Everything will be just fine, trust us.
Fine. Bring us in without you. Well,
Couple gallons of eggnog.
oh, yeah.
Sounds good. Well, hey, glad to hear things are going better at the
Yeah.
theater and picking up, and you got some great movies starting. So that's
Like I said,
that's
next,
good.
next week is, next Friday is gonna be, we were a little stale right now with some of the films being here for a while, but the only thing we'll have is Recruits. And it'll be 6 new films, nothing, no classic films. We've been able to get away from that, so that's all good.
Very cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
and we have,
Thanks for all your
what's
hard
playing
work.
tomorrow?
Oh, Overcomer.
Overcomer, so we
Yes,
got
yeah,
Oh,
our
yeah,
Faith
yeah,
Film
yeah.
Festival.
Yeah,
Yes,
film-
Faith Film
yep,
Festival,
yep,
Overcomer.
yep.
Faith Film Festival, Overcomer plays
Overcomer.
tomorrow. What
Yeah.
time?
10 a.m.
10.
And what does it cost to get in?
$5.
$5.
$5.
$5.
And it's faith-based film
Yeah.
Faith Film.
because it's part of the Faith-Based Film Festival.
Faith Film Festival.
Yay.
Say that 5 times fast.
Huh.
Anyway, have a good one.
Take care, guys. We'll see
All
you.
right,
Party
and
on.
for those of you coming along with us on Facebook, if you have any questions for our movie aficionados or just a point you'd like to make, go ahead and post it up there and we'll share it with everybody. Greetings this morning to Ned's with us, Maria's also with us, Melissa, excuse me. Thanks for joining us this morning. And just talking about movies. So,
And you mentioned a few minutes ago about movies that could be, successfully remade. One of the recurring films in movies in film history is The Three Musketeers, and
Oh,
the 2011 version of that, our own Mila Jovovich played Milady Winter.
Milady.
Milady Winter.
Yeah.
But I have a special fondness for the Richard Lester version with Faye Dunaway playing Milady
Yep.
and Michael York and Oliver Reed and Frank Finley. Yes, Frank Finley and Spike Mulligan was in that. And I'm just reading again about Spike Mulligan. He was one of the originals of the radio show back in the 50s in Britain called The Goon Show with Peter Sellers. And
Peter Sellers was a radio guy?
you bet.
I
Oh,
didn't know
he was
that.
a very successful radio guy. I know about the show because when I was
We're
in
radio
Singapore,
guys too,
yeah, we
just
are.
like Peter Sellers.
I know. When I was in Singapore as a kid, they used to ship out the British shows to this colony, and it was the 50s, and I would listen to the Goon Show, and if you go on YouTube and you look at, they actually filmed them. I mean, I never even saw them until about 10 years ago. The Goon Show was insane. Peter Sellers and Spike Mulligan and a couple of the other guys, I forget who they are, but they were really un-PC.
Well, I will do that. I
Yeah.
look at YouTube stuff, premiere every single day.
You will
And,
love the Goon Show.
And I'll just
Yeah.
plug in the old Goon Show
Yeah.
and see what happens.
So Spike Mulligan was in The Three Musketeers, and he played the husband of Raquel Welch, who, you know, the older guy, this young, you know, she was kind of schmoozing up to Michael York, but God, that's a funny movie,
Wow.
right?
That goes back a few years.
You know,
Yeah,
you don't think of the,
70s.
don't think of the Three Musketeers as being, you know, comedic, but
Oh,
this version was.
and even the Four Musketeers, he made another one. And Christopher Lee played Cardinal Richelieu, and he was just, the baddest of bad guys.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Mila played
Yeah, Mila.
Lady De Winter.
Yes, milady.
Yeah.
Evil,
So,
evil.
yeah, but you know, she's not just an action
Yeah.
heroine.
Yeah.
She's also in Hellboy.
Yes, she was.
Wow.
Yes.
Anyway, she's a busy gal. Typically, you know, the last 10 years or so, she's been doing 2, sometimes 3 movies a year.
Right.
And you know, just don't think very much about her, except for the Resident Evil movies, which are very, very successful. And by the way, she is. We mentioned she was married to Luc Besson. Who Tina and I just think he is just great.
He is, he really is.
And you know, I saw La Femme Nikita
Oh.
this year. I watched it again. and-
The original is
Yeah.
the one. I mean, subtitles, you need subtitles,
Yeah.
it's great.
And it's
Yeah.
so good that the Americanized version with Kate Hudson is also
No,
very,
I
very
thought it
good.
was Bridget Fonda.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, it was
You're right.
Bridget Fonda. Yeah,
It's
And,
also very, very good, but
right.
not as good as the original.
oh yeah, the original, I mean, if you've seen the American version, it's okay, and you probably even liked it, but if you see the original, it's just out of the park,
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So she was married to Luc Besson for a couple of movies, and now
A
she,
couple of movies, right?
she was married to him for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But now she's married to Paul W.S. Anderson.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yes.
Apparently so, W.S.
Yes.
Yes.
Who is her current husband. She's been married to him for some time now.
She's got a
Since
bunch of kids
two-
too.
2009, she married him.
Right.
And yes, they have 3 daughters together.
Right.
And he makes the Resident Evil movies.
Right.
And I think he made this one, the Monster Hunter.
Oh,
Yeah, the one that starts
Okay.
today, that I'm
Yeah.
gonna see today.
Now,
Yeah.
do you have a review in this week's Pace and Roundup?
No. I was out of town last week. My baby boy got married
wow.
down in the valley. So
Congratulations, condolences, whatever works.
Yeah.
no, they're, I've met both of them, they're very nice.
Very cool.
Yes, they belong together.
So what are,
Ah,
the world is falling. What is it you're gonna go see today at the Sawmill Theaters?
Oh, Monster Hunter with Mila Jovovich,
Jojovich or Yo-Yovich
or it could be Jovovich, I
It
guess.
could be,
Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah. She is American, I don't know where, what her background is, but with the bitch.
Eastern
yeah,
European would
Eastern
be my
European,
guess, and not
yeah.
Italian.
Yeah, not Italian, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I need to get down, I can't remember the last time that I actually was in the Sawmill Theater and watched a movie. I'm way overdue. And these movies sound like,
Yeah.
We're finally getting back
That's
into
in
getting
my,
some
I
recent
can't go
movies.
today, but I really am gonna catch up, so, next week. So, yeah.
And I thought, Craig's point about if you want to, maybe you've got a bunch of family coming in, during the holidays and that type of thing, and maybe you'd like to get a theater to yourself. I mean, $100 minimum, and they're talking about, you could charge everybody in your group X dollars or whatever, but for $100 to have a theater to yourself, and those close to you, I think that would be a hoot. And what the heck, and they've got some good movies, and between all of the technology that they have there, the sound system and everything, I think it's a great place to
Well,
go.
the other thing too is that Craig has done in the past, and I'm sure would still do, is you want to see a movie on the big screen, and it's not the movie that's showing, but you can get, a special showing of a special movie. Remember, we saw what was the one? Was it Cary Grant? No, was it John Wayne? I don't remember, but that kid, I love this. There's some young kid who, you know,
Oh, the
is,
son of Paleface.
oh yeah, Bob Hope, and he loved this
Yes,
movie, and
This
so
friend of ours is
Yeah.
in his early 20s.
yeah,
For his birthday, he rented the theater and
showed Son of
and showed
Paleface
him Son of Paleface.
with Bob Hope, and it was
I'm surprised someone in their 20s even knows about
Well,
Bob Hope.
that was what had me.
it's
Yeah,
part of
we
the
were-
charm.
Yeah, I mean, really,
I remember as a kid, I loved watching Bob Hope
Oh,
movies. I mean, there was always, you know, funny stuff, and I
his
just
timing, his
well, and
yeah.
I mean, his normal, you know, comedic delivery.
Right.
I don't think anybody has ever done one after another, after another, after another.
Right.
I mean, that guy was just nonstop
And he and
one-liners.
Bing Crosby, you know, I that's one of the things I watched as a kid. All of those, you
The
know,
road movies.
road movies, the road to Bali, the road to wherever. Yeah, it was good, and they always had a bombshell. You know, was it Rosalind Russell was in some of them, I think, and Dorothy Lamour was in some of them, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, the good
That goes
stuff.
back a few years.
Well, so do I.
You're in good company. Yeah, it's interesting though, when it comes back to what, if you were gonna go back to, let's say, you know, nothing within the last 25 years, if you're gonna go back further than 25 years,
That's only 1995.
I'm depressed
Can we go
now.
back to the 80s?
Okay, let's say 35
Or the
years. then.
70s.
I mean, okay, let's go back to like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
I mean,
that-
favorite movie from that era that you'd like to watch again?
Oh, Chinatown,
Ooh,
always,
yeah,
always.
Chinatown's good. How about you, Andy?
Yeah.
This week, one this week and then one last week, I've been watching Clint Eastwood movies.
Oh,
I saw Outlaw Josie Wells
Oh.
last week, and this week I saw Hang 'em High.
yeah.
And, you know, Hang 'em High I never really paid much attention to, but I watched it very closely this week. It was on TV.
Mhm.
And just an impeccably made movie. It was,
Mhm.
I mean, it was really, really good.
You know,
Yeah.
one that I actually saw at the Old Fox Theater in downtown Phoenix back when that was still around as a kid when it came out, and I believe, I don't know, I think we're talking like 68, 69, somewhere around in there. Was a great World War II movie about our guys in a German concentration camp.
Yes.
And I had the title of it on the tip of my
Was it
tongue, and now that's
Stalag
gone.
17?
No, it's
No? Which was a great movie, by the way.
Great Escape.
Great Escape.
Yes.
And I still
Steve McQueen.
every time that
and-
riding his motorcycle
Yeah.
and jumping the barbed wire and everything.
Oh,
Every time I see that movie on TV, it's like I don't care what else is going on. I want to, and it's
and
those
James
kind of movies.
Garner was in that.
Yeah, a bunch of big
Oh,
names.
Wonderful movie. Now again, I could go for that.
and that was another one that
Mhm.
I think that was a 3-hour plus movie if I remember
It's a big,
correctly.
long one, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It is
But I
long.
remember seeing that at the Old Fox Theater, and,
Yeah.
and that was, I don't know, for some reason I find that to be highly entertaining. Another one that I don't know.
Quasi, based on true stuff.
True,
too.
Right,
yes,
Yeah,
true.
except I think most of the guys got killed when they escaped,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, got to give him credit for trying.
yeah.
You know, another movie that I remember very fondly from when I was a kid that I used to every time it's been on since, I've always watched it, and I don't really know what the big attraction was for me even as a kid, but I just thought it was a great movie, and I haven't seen it now in a long time. Spencer's Mountain.
Good movie.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was I
yes.
thought that was
It was great.
I don't know. It was more like kind of not a takeoff, but you know, similar to like the Waltons or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a really good job on that.
Well, circling back to Andy's Clint Eastwood movies, one of my favorites is Pale Horse, Pale Rider. That is, and it's less watched, but it's very, it's almost surreal. There's some question about him, whether he's real or kind of an avenging angel.
Mhm.
And then Play Misty for me. That was good.
What's the other one that,
Well, he played in Blood Work.
Where, no, like, it's some kind of similar to Pale Rider, but not the one, isn't Pale Rider the one where he paints the town red?
I think so, yeah.
But there, and there's another one where he, also saw in the last week or so, where he helps out the miners. The miners are being
Oh,
oppressed.
Yeah. Sorry, escapes me.
Yeah.
But blood work, if you've ever seen blood work, that is just amazing. And it was a book by Michael Conley, who really admired Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood stars in that.
Real quick, by the way, thanks for joining us. Looking at Abel, Kevin, Corrine, Dean, Amanda. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live this morning. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
But one of the, and you're talking about that era.
Right.
One of the great, I mean, truly great, truly wonderful movies from that era is American Graffiti.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
And
Stunning.
yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
stunning.
Harrison Ford was
Chock a
in that.
block with great stars.
I mean, Sybil Shepherd was in that.
Amazing, huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And Peter Bogdanovich was the director, and he was a good. He made a movie called Paper Moon.
Yep.
Remember, with Ryan O'Neal and Tatum O'Neal, Little Tatum, and didn't she win the Oscar for that?
I think she did.
She did.
That
Yeah.
sounds right.
And then
The
lettuce-
youngest Oscar winner,
Uh,
even to this day.
Was it? Did Shirley Temple win one though?
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
You know, back on the subject for just a second of Westerns, one of my favorites of all time, and I just had the opportunity to watch it again recently, and I can't really say why I like it so much, but I think the cinematography is good. It's, I believe it was the very first time I had ever seen Kevin Costner, but Silverado.
Silverado.
I mean,
Yeah.
I find that movie to be still as entertaining to watch now as it was a couple of decades ago when it first came out.
Well, and I will mention that we watch Netflix, and we just finished a series called Godless, which has Michelle Dockery, who was from
Downtown Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
I always say downtown.
Well, you're wrong, because there's no W, right? But she is a British actress who was able to absolutely be an American. It's a Western. And Jeff Daniels plays a one-armed bad guy, and he is just stunning. It's just amazing. Really, really good series. But what about the Godfather trilogy?
Oh, man.
I mean,
How many of those did they make?
Three. Those were good movies.
They
Yeah.
were great. The last one, but I mean, the story was really good. Sylvia Coppola unfortunately couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. A friend of mine said, she was cast because she was Francis
And remember, you
Ford's-
heard it first here on Roller Derby.
She was cast because she was Francis Ford's daughter. And the other thing too, and the very snarky friend of mine said, well, she had great hair. And she does. She's, flinging her long Italian hair around. A gorgeous girl, but she
But
couldn't
then
act.
eventually you have to actually listen to her. And,
Yeah, just a little whiny voice, little valley girl voice.
Nice.
Not good. No. But that was a very sad movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So best Western of all time?
Mm.
Of all time?
Searchers, which I also saw part of this week, was on
Yeah.
TV.
Searchers.
Well, yeah, I'll go with that, but The Unforgiven.
Also.
Right,
yeah.
and Silverado, right? Yeah.
I'm going to check out Searchers. I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, John
you
Ford.
will absolutely be.
That is
Dazzled.
John
Really?
Wayne, and that was, John Ford just chose John Wayne. He saw him and he said he had all the qualities that he needed.
So that was the first time they ever worked together?
Stagecoach. I'm thinking
Yes,
that was the one that John Wayne with John Ford, but the Searchers.
Black and white.
Yeah, black and white, but the Searchers is John Ford.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I don't know how you are on your Comanche history, but do you know the name Quanah Parker?
No.
Okay, Quanah Parker was one of the foremost Comanche chiefs.
Mm.
And he was the daughter of some Comanche guy and a captive white girl named, I think, Amy Parker.
I'm
But
not
but
familiar with it.
the story of The Searchers involves these two actual historical
Right,
girls who were kidnapped by the Comanches.
right.
And the one who was not rescued eventually became the mother of Quanah Parker, who became one of the great Comanche chiefs.
Wow.
And the story, the John Wayne character,
Mhm.
the uncle of the two girls was
Mhm.
an actual historical person,
Right.
and it is an amazingly
Yeah.
good movie and and absolutely beautifully filmed.
Yeah,
You
And
know-
a lot of it was filmed, in Monument Valley and places like that where we see the familiar topographical things.
Oh, boy, there's just no other place in the world that looks like Monument Valley. You know, another Western that I've watched a few times and I've enjoyed, from kind of a different angle, but 310 to Yuma.
yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Well, and there was
Both of them.
both of them. That was a
They-
remake,
Well, they did what, 312 to Yuma then?
No, they did-
but they did. There was an original one. I forget what era was it.
It was black and white, I think.
Maybe so.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that had been.
Yeah.
The more recent one is the only one I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that had been remade.
Yeah, Russell Crowe is a bad guy. Holy
Oh,
smokes,
he
is
is
he
the
good.
baddest bad guy.
Whoa,
Yeah.
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 And
And by the way, there's a local Payson connection to 310 to Yuma.
Yep.
The
Stan?
Stan, the train man, Garner,
Right.
he arranged the train. The 310 to Yuma, of course, is a train
Right.
taking the prisoners to the prison at Yuma, which I guess was a pretty not good place to be a prisoner because it was hot and they made you break rocks all the
I
time.
don't even like to go to Yuma if I'm not in prison. Sorry, but yeah, that's
Yeah, really.
interesting though.
Yeah.
Hello, Christina and Melissa. Thanks for joining along, and Rick, Rick Coppinger. How you doing, buddy? Haven't seen him in forever. Anyway, that's interesting though. And Jenny joined us too. Thanks for coming along, Jenny. Appreciate it. Talking about just movies in general this morning with two of our three hometown movie guys. Craig needed to get back to work, oddly enough, but the rest of us don't have jobs, so we can just sit here and do it.
We mentioned, or at least I did, I mentioned American Graffiti, and among the cadre of actors, famous actors, there is Bo Hopkins,
Yes.
who's famous as being the sidekick in the Smokey and the Bandit movies.
Yep.
But God, I know he's got 130 movies or something like that.
Yeah.
And most recently, here a couple of weeks ago, he was in a movie that was directed by Ron Howard. He, of course,
Oh,
he played an old guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
And both Ron Howard and Bo Hopkins were in American Graffiti
Yeah.
50 years ago.
50 years ago. Yeah, I know.
Was that 50 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Something like
at
that.
least,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, we're waving to people off camera. You have to people staring through the window. I just see.
the continuity of some actors, you know, if they live long enough, they can do some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And Bo was again, I just saw this movie here, you know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I can't remember the name of it now, but
I really wish Arizona would get back into the groove again as far as attracting movies being filmed here. They haven't been as easy to work with, I understand, over the past decade or two. And
now, at the end of the movies, Tina and I always watch until the last
Moment.
the last credit
We're always sitting there.
goes by, and there's always stuff. Thank you for the Film Board of Quebec
Yeah.
for your support for
The
this
Film Board of
movie.
New Mexico.
And the Film Board of New Mexico, and they give them money.
Yeah. Well, they give
But I
them
mean,
tax
we have
breaks.
so many iconic
Yeah.
places, you know,
We do.
certainly
But
Monument
that's-
Valley and
yeah.
the Mogollon Rim for that matter. I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
And some great history to go along with those
Mhm.
places that I think would,
Yeah.
it would just be neat
Yeah,
to see us get
Patty
more
and I were
progressive.
watching a movie on TV the other night, and I said, "Gee, that sure looks like Arizona, doesn't it?" and, well, it wasn't, it was New Mexico.
Mhm.
And it's for that very reason. And
Mhm.
philosophically, you don't want the government to say, okay, you, Randy, we're gonna give you special privileges in our tax code,
Right.
because we think you're swell. And we're not gonna give them to Tina because, she's in the ice cream business.
Well, she gets kicked off
She got
Facebook all
it
the
because
time.
she's banned from Facebook.
But they do that in New Mexico, they do it, Georgia has
Georgia.
has a very well-developed, support for the film industry.
Mhm.
I would think that would be a
Australia-
benefit for us.
Australia.
Australia, provides benefits for the film industry.
Mhm.
South Africa provides benefits for the film industry.
Right.
And in all those places, they make movies. In fact, this Monster Hunter movie I'm gonna be seeing today, part of it is filmed in South Africa.
By the way, hello to Herbert, Edna, Deborah, and Lynn. Thanks for joining us.
She's
on,
Liz.
Facebook.
Wow.
Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
wasn't the article that was done on us? We're semi-famous now because.
Well, I tell you what, yeah.
I've had mention.
I hear that
Several
even
people.
people in Geisela are talking
Oh,
about you.
no, we're international.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Or something, intergalactic.
I think they're talking about us because we're friends of yours. They say, hey, have you seen that Randy's got those people on his radio show?
Those poor people. Anyway, it's interesting to have folks joining along with us here. And if any of you have any, we've got 5 minutes left, so if you have any questions for our hometown movie guys, feel free to text in on our Facebook page, and we'll be happy to try and get you an answer.
So I read a little snippet of, just interesting stuff. Jimmy Stewart was, remember, in World War II. And he was a very, very active, I think he was a fighter pilot.
He was bomber pilot.
Bomber pilot.
Yep.
And when he came back,
So-
the first movie he did was the Christmas one. Come on.
Oh, the very famous Christmas one.
Yes, with the angel.
God.
With Donna Reed.
Yeah. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. And people said on the set that he literally channeled his PTSD into the role. That there was not a dry eye in the house when he acted the part of George, whatever his last name was.
Okay.
And that is such a great movie. That is my favorite Christmas movie.
And I think that's one of those, that's on TV every year, multiple times.
Yeah.
But it's one of those too that if I come across it, okay, I'll stop and watch it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I know exactly what's going to happen next, but there's just something
George
about.
Bailey, he was,
Yeah.
and when I read that, it gave me even a new appreciation of these old-time movie guys who went off to fight. They were not anti-American, unfortunately, as some of the current Hollywood people are. They were patriots. And, they were like Robert Mitchum.
And who was the guy that played the wealthy bad guy in It's a Wonderful Life? I don't recall his
don't
name.
remember.
There was, boy, how to do this politically correct. There was an elected official somewhere around Rim Country 40 years ago that looked just like him and acted just like him. And every time I see the movie, I think of that guy. He's not with us anymore, but so he can't feel offended by my weird comments. But I don't know. That's another great one. That's an iconic
It is.
holiday
It is.
movie.
Yeah.
And I don't. Of course, so is Charlie Brown's Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm easily entertained. Favorite Christmas movie, Andy?
What about Miracle on 34th Street?
Yeah, I like that
That's
one.
that's a good one too.
We saw part of anyway, Four Christmases the other night, and it's in this century.
Right.
So, but it's the more I see it, the more it grows on me. It's got Vince Vaughn.
Yes. Yeah.
And the setup is that it's a modern family, and they've got his parents to visit. They've got her parents to go to visit. They've got his step family to visit and her step family to visit. So they've got 4 Christmases, and very kind of poignant movie, and a lot of emotional tugs in there.
Well, sadly, we're out of time, but please, over the holidays here, get on down to the Sawmill Theater, check out the movies. They got some great ones, new ones starting today and also next week that you owe it to yourself to go check out. So get on out there. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live this morning, as always, and we'll catch up with you next time.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to be
Oh, wait a minute.
sipping eggnog somewhere.
That's going to be New Year's Eve.
Well,
We'll talk.
yeah, we'll find out. Anyway, we'll be back with